take a shot of courage. From the IB Network and the Box Drop Remote Studio in Grand Junction, Colorado, this is Dave Alley, and this is the Adventure Alley Show. Hi, Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. Let me ask you guys a question right out of the gate here. Does anybody write checks anymore? Does anybody even have a checkbook? I think that checks are probably outdated. They're definitely a dinosaur when it comes to making payments or paying for stuff. At least that's been my case for the last, at least 10 years. But I've got kind of a goat here that I need to beat up a little bit. I went into the grocery store the other night to buy a few things, and this old duffer was ahead of me. First of all, I had to wait about 10, 15 minutes, and I'm kind of an impatient kind of a joker anyway. But I had to wait at least 10, 15 minutes to check out. Instead of they've got 8 lanes to check out people at the grocery store, and they've got 2 of them going. Especially in a time when it's your rush hour at the grocery store, bring in more help, get more people on the line. Anyway, to make that story shorter, behind an old duffer, his bill came to $9.40. I don't know what he bought, but I think he bought a sack of spaghetti and a box of toothpicks. But he whipped out his checkbook and wrote a check, which took him at least 5 minutes to write the damn check. $9.13. N-I-N-E. I almost did that. I almost jumped over there and wrote the damn check out myself. But I didn't. But anyway, he wrote the check, and then he had to go and put it in his register. I'm surprised he didn't whip out a calculator and try to reconcile his account. Oh, my God. I don't know. But does anybody use checks anymore? Please. If you do, don't. If you come to Grand Junction, don't get in line when I'm behind you and write a check. Don't do it. I don't know. Grocery stores, I didn't even know people accepted checks anymore. Grocery stores obviously do, at least one I went to. Liquor stores don't accept checks anymore. Bars don't accept checks anymore. Most restaurants don't accept checks anymore. Gas stations don't accept any checks. How in the world does a check company even stay in business? I don't know. When was the last time you bought checks? God, it's been 1969 since the last time. Anyway, what time is it? No, it's not taco time. It is summertime here in Grand Junction. It's 90 degrees today, I think. It's supposed to get up to 90 degrees. May not be that now, but it's hot. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hotter. That's great. Everybody's loving the warm outdoors. Everybody's getting out, having fun. People are going to the parks. People are out riding bikes, doing some hiking. The only bad thing about this is there's no precipitation that is predicted over the next, at least the next week, which is sad. And boy, do we need it here in western Colorado and in the western United States, or at least the majority of the western states, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, probably a little bit in Southern California. I don't know. It's global warming. You think? I don't know. I don't believe in that stuff. And I got a story. I have a story that'll kind of pinpoint this a little bit further as we go. But anyway, what do I got on the list today? Let me see. Going to talk about the poor little girl who got attacked by a bear. Yes, a bear attack here in Grand Junction. Literally a mile and a half from where I live. This poor girl was attacked by a bear, and it's not even fall. Typically bears don't come swinging down to town until they get really hungry, which is normally about the fall time. This bear must have woken up, and he must have been either really pissed off or he was really hungry, or both, because he came down to Grand Junction and he mauled this poor little girl. So we're going to talk about that. And then I also want to get on my list, I want to talk about the royal wedding coming up on Saturday. Yeehaw! Can't wait for that. And I got some other information I think is very interesting on that you'll find interesting and maybe a little bit funny. I want to talk a little bit about how mountain ranges got their names. Some of the mountain ranges here in the Great West. Hunting licenses here in Colorado. I don't have any information about other states, but you can get that if you went to your local Game and Goose website. They can get that information to you. But I got that information here today that I'll pass on about Colorado. I want to talk my featured state today is New Mexico, and I'm going to talk about Chaco Canyon. And I think everybody's is heard of Chaco Canyon, and if you haven't heard about it, you must be living under a rock with a snake. But anyway, I'll talk a little bit about that. That's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Golden Them There Hills. I've been pushing this back 3 or 4 weeks now, and I'm going to definitely get that one out of the way. It's very interesting. If you're going to do some hiking, camping in the great western states this year, there's some places here that you may want to put on your list to visit, because you can actually go out and do some mining, placer mining. Well, that's with a pan and a creek, if there's any water left. God only know about that. Got to talk about. By the way, I found out today the gas prices in Grand Junction went up 5 cents since yesterday. And they went up 12 cents in the little town. Well, it's not a little town anymore. To the town to the south of us in Montrose, 12 cents in one day. Now it's over $3. I feel like I'm living, in San Francisco, paying $3 a gallon for fuel. We're supposed to be energy, efficient here in Colorado and in the United States. And all these wells are going full blast, and people are putting a well down in the ground every 15 seconds, it seemed like. But where the hell's all this oil going, and why isn't the gas prices coming down? Don't know. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We've got to talk a little bit about tattooing. Then snakes. Oh, my God. I was going to try not to talk about snakes this week, but I swear every time that I get on the Internet and go to Facebook, and I have to, I get some of my appointments that I do in the sideline here. I've got a little mattress store, Boxer Up Grand Junction, and I have to go on that every day and advertise, and people, get back to me and say, can I buy a mattress, etc. Yeah, come on down. But I spend a lot of time on Facebook, and there are at least 4 or 5 stories a day about snakes. And a good example, somebody had posted one about these 2 little girls in some place over or down in South America, literally were riding on top of a snake. The snake looked like it was about 10 feet long, or at least, and it was about, 8, 9, 10 inches around. And you could see the snake slithering down, it looked like through their village, and those kids were on top of the snake riding this thing. Now, what would happen if that snake got mad and came back and bit one of them? Or ate one of them? Oh, my God. Where are the parents at with this stuff like that? And then I got another one that somebody sent me, said, you'll like this one. A picture of it was actually a video of a snake had jumped in and attacked a mouse family, and actually grabbed one of the little mice, the baby mice, from the nest, and slithered off with it. Well, the mother obviously didn't stand for that. She jumped right in the middle of that snake and would just beat the living snot out of him. The snake finally dropped the little mouse, and the mother mouse was biting and pecking this snake all the way till the thing got away into the grass. Amazing. And that's just like 1 or 2 of the stories that come up on this Facebook every day. Oh, God, I'm scared of snakes. And then I got a customer of mine that came in that told me a story about a snake, since he knew that I was scared of him. He says, yeah, tell your listeners about this story. And so I'm going to tell you that story about him. Also, I got to tell you, this is, again, we're still in the middle of May, or in the month of May. And you know what May is? It's Naked Gardening Month. There you go. Has anybody been out gardening in the nude, since May started? The weather here in Grand Junction is plenty warm enough to get out and take the old clothes off and jump out there and do a little gardening. Trim a tree, plant a bush, put in some flowers, water the grass, do something. Nobody in my neighborhood that I am aware of has done any gardening in the nude, so that's one thing I'm happy to report. Let me see what else. Going to talk a little bit about the Elk Foundation, and turkey season is over here in Colorado, but I had a guy that called me, and he wanted to tell me his turkey hunting story of him and his son had gone out and went hunting. That's a great story. I'm going to tell you about that. National parks and state park visitation numbers are all filed up. How does that happen? How does the government figure to have wrong calculations or not have the right count when the people that come in and out of these national parks or state parks don't get it. Don't they have those little counters that you used to push a button, go 1, 2, 3. I guess not, or maybe even write them down 1, 2, 3, 4 /5. I don't know. Hard to say. E. coli. Also, there's a story about an E. coli in Utah that's affecting some of the national parks there, and that's not good. 10 places in the United States to see UFOs. This is great. I can't wait to go on that. But first, I have just enough time before the first break to tell you about something that I've been wanting to say now for the last two weeks. It's there was an epidemic of some sort of a sickness from all the woodpeckers up in the northern part of California. And it's not quite up in the redwoods, but up in that area, the woodpeckers were having some sort of disease, and a lot of them were being killed off. And they would fall out of the trees, and there wasn't anybody there to pick them up and take them to get to the veterinary or to somewhere to get them some help, a hospital of some sort. So the strippers down in Las Vegas took it upon themselves to come up with a plan to help these woodpeckers. So what they decided to do is they came up with this is original too, the Pecker Stretcher 44 Double D Benefit Run. And what they were going to do is they were going to run from one end of Caesar's Palace to the other and then back. And they were going to try to raise money by having people call in and pledge money. If you make it around the crap table, I'll give you $5. If you make it around the crap table and down to that row of slot machines, I'll give you $10, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, these strippers took it upon themselves to get that done. And the last tally that I heard, they made over $4,000 for these woodpeckers. And they really felt that this was a great benefit. Not only was it helping humanity, but they were very pleased that they could raise enough money to purchase gurneys for these poor woodpeckers to help transport them out of the woods to somewhere where they could get some medical attention. So anyway, can't have enough of that. So the Pecker Stretcher 44 Double D Benefit Run has now been concluded. They raised money, and they raised enough to buy enough Pecker Stretchers for those sick peckers. So how about that? And next time you see a stripper, give her a hug. Give her a hug. No doubt about it. That's well worth it. Let's see what else I can tell you about. Let's go back really quickly to this poor girl here in Grand Junction. She literally got mauled by a bear. And the story goes is last Saturday, she woke up up on her bed, which was up in a 2-story house, and she heard her dog, I guess, crying or barking or whatever outside. So loving the dog and being curious, she got up and went down. This is like about 2 o'clock in the morning. Went down to see what all the commotion was outside, and she opened the door, went outside, and there was a dog barking. And then all of a sudden this bear grabbed her, and then she started screaming. The dog kept barking. And so the mother finally woke up, and she ran downstairs to see what the heck was going on. And she opened the door just as she saw the bear dragging the little girl down through their yard. Well, she screamed and yelled and so forth, and the bear finally dropped the young girl, thank God, and ran off in the dark. So this is excuse me, this is the case. The girl is okay. Matter of fact, she got out of the hospital yesterday. But boy, this is like I said earlier, this is really a scary thing when a bear comes down to town this early in the year. So either there's no water up there, or there's no food, or there's no either or, and or maybe there's nothing up there to eat for them, obviously, or they wouldn't be down here. So, but she's okay. She's going to make a full recovery. Unfortunately, the Colorado Parks and Wildlife had to put the bear down. But when a bear starts coming into town like that and gets a free lunch, there's no turning back. There's like somebody on a heroin. They're going to come after it time and time again. So, but anyway, the little girl's fine. Everything turned out fine except for the poor bear. But somebody from the Colorado Parks and Wildlife is going to have a nice bear rug on their wall. So anyway, got to take a break. Be right back.
Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network.
inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. Welcome back. I was telling you that before we went to break that I was going to throw out some information on how some of our mountain ranges got named here and elsewhere in the Great West, Mountain West, Rocky Mountain West, whatever west you want to go west, young men, go west. Anyway, I'm going to give three of them out every week, or try to every week. But here are three mountain ranges that are kind of interesting how they got their name. The first one is the Mosquito Range, and that was actually here in Colorado. It's over closer to like being in the middle of the state. And the Mosquito Range really was named by Judge Wilbur Stone, who painfully was aware of the abundance of the little pesky mosquitoes that every time he went up on that range of mountains to herd cows or to mine or to maybe set in court, I don't know. The poor guy was attacked by mosquitoes, so he's the one that actually named that range the Mosquito Range, the Great Mosquito Range, and it's really unclear how or what the Indians called the range when they were obviously here before the good judge was. But some people think that even the Indians were having problems with the mosquitoes and so forth, so they just kind of let it go. But even after the judge really didn't have the opportunity to go back up and do a lot of hiking or whatever he was doing up in the range, the Mosquito Range, he named a mining company the Mosquito Range Mining Company. And he named it after the range of mountains, which basically stuck to that range of mountains. So when you're over next to the Denver area, well, it's actually over between Buena Vista and Salida over in that area. And you see a range of mountains with a lot of mosquitoes swarming around, like they do in Minnesota. That's where it came from. So, but there are reports that the mosquitoes aren't as bad as they used to be, and so go up and check it out and do some hiking, do some hunting. Go up and do some fishing. Go up and take a look. There's some great places to see and so forth in the great state that we live in. So please do it, because before you know it, you'll be old and decrepit like myself, and you won't be able to do it, or you're too tired. And anyway, so get out and do it. Go out and have some fun. The next range of mountains is called it's over on the east side of the San Luis Valley. It's called the San de Cristo Range. And this range of mountains was named by Spanish explorers that came through the territory back in 1792, and they were looking for gold after they had raped and pillaged everything down in Mexico. So all these priests came to Colorado to see what else they could rape and pillage and get more gold. And but anyway, they didn't find a lot to rape and pillage, but they did see, and they were a I guess, religious. Well, they had to be religious. Hell, they were monks and priests. I guess they weren't monks. Man, they might have been, but mostly priests. And they were camping one time on the west side of the San Luis Valley as the sun was going down, and when the sun went down and hit the peaks at a certain angle, they turned bright red. And one of the priests jumped up and said, "Sangre de Cristo," which means in Spanish the blood of Christ. So anyway, that's what it means. The blood of Christ is what the Sangre de Cristo range means. Oh, that's my bookie. Hang on for a second here. Let me see what he has to say. Yeah, that was my bookie, and he said that he doesn't take checks either. So, see, there you go. Just no one takes checks anymore. Get rid of them. Dinosaurs, old, can't do it. Well, anyway, where was I at? The blood of Christ. Talking about the blood of Christ and talking to my book at the same time, it just doesn't seem right, does it? It just doesn't seem right. Anyway, so these priests named them the Sangre de Cristo range, the blood of Christ, and that's how they got their name. So now you know. Now we're going to switch over to a different state, over to the great state of Utah and Wyoming. Well, actually, it's more Wyoming and Montana than it is Utah, but it may be a little bit of Utah. This is the Grand Tetons, and this is a very interesting story how this range got named. I don't know if anybody's ever been to the Teton Range. It's right next to Yellowstone, and let me see. There's a big ski area over there. What is the name of that? Gosh, it's, when you see there's another reason you get old, you can't remember a darn thing. But anyway, I'll think about it and think in a minute. It's very popular, especially with all the children. But anyway, the Grand Tetons was named by a French voyager who came through that part of the country in the early 17, or actually almost the late 1700s. And they were, I don't know what the French were doing. I guess there was a lot of French guys up there. Not only were they trying to make maps, but the French were really renowned and really known for their fur trapping. Those guys were trapping fools. They tracked more beaver and all kinds of animals in this area than any other nationality in the world. So if you got a little French blood in you, you probably got a little bit of a outdoorsman or outdoors person. I'm not politically correct, as you know. And you probably would like to get out there and trap something if you're French. So anyway, but these guys were up there at the Grand Tetons in the late 1700s, and one of the Frenchmen saw these peaks, and he said he called them the Los Torres Teton, and which after. I probably didn't say that because I'm not French, and I really don't have any reason to feel bad about not having any French in me, but at least I don't think I do. But anyway, Las Torres Tetons, and that means in French 3 nipples, So if you look at it and you take a look back at these mountains, they do have a distinct breast-like shape. So the peaks do. So the modern version came out to Tetons instead of Tetons or Teats. It's Tetons, and so anyway, there you go. And that's a true story. So if you don't like the Grand Tetons to resemble boobs, and that offends you that they're called Tetons or Teats in French, don't bug me about it. Tell somebody that cares, like some Frenchman, and tell them to quit trapping beaver. The matter of fact, you can't do that unless you have a license, and I don't think you can do that in up there because it's in a national park. So there you go. Three nipples. There you go. The Grand Tetons look like breasts. So I'm not making this up. I do make a lot of stuff up. This I'm not making up. So there you go. Next week we'll have other interesting tributes and so forth about other mountain ranges and how they are and who actually named them and where the originality of the thing came from, or the peaks. Let's see what else we got here. I got time for a couple more things here before the next break. How about let's go right to the royal wedding. Yeah, I can't go without talking about the royal wedding. This is a big deal, and people are actually making plans. Believe it or not, there's a group in Grand Junction here that are actually going to have a royal wedding watch party. Can you believe it? Who cares? Obviously they do. But anyway, the big wedding is the 19th, and the couple seems to be real happy. She's from the U.S., and he's obviously from Britain, a Brit. And they're going to get married. I guess the Queen is not all happy about everything because of her past and some of her antics. And her parents aren't real happy with it, and they're not even going to attend the wedding. And it sounds to me like there's a rift on both sides of the family, so there could be a big blow up if they ever get together for a Christmas or a holiday of some sort, and the dad comes in with a 6-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and the Queen doesn't approve of his brand of beer. So wouldn't that be fun to see? Oh God, I would pay money to see that. The guy comes in with a 12er of Pabst Blue Ribbon, and hey Queen, you want a can of beer? Oh my God, wouldn't that be funny? Oh, holy moly! I would pay money. I would pay money to see that. So, but anyway, there's a riff on both sides, but they're still going to get married. Saturday's the big deal, the big day. They're not going to accept any presents. If you want to give them a present, just give them a donation to some of the charities that they have signed up to take on and to represent. So. There you go. I don't know what I don't know what kind of charities that they're that they're hoping that people will give to. I'm hoping it's stuff to help the humanity of the earth and maybe clean up the national parks or I don't even know if they got. Well, they do have national parks over there, or to maybe feed the homeless or something. I hope it's not to. Trees or shelter cats or something like that. I don't know. The royal family's real big in dogs. They've got a herd of dogs or whatever a herd of dogs would be. But the last picture I saw of the royal family, when I don't even know, it's probably on Facebook next to one of those damn snake sites. They had like 15 dogs, and they're all those little short. Legged little dogs. They got long bodies. They're not like a weenie dog, but they got the legs of a weenie dog, but they're not weenie dogs. They're a little bit stouter or a little tougher or a little bulkier than a weenie dog. Doesn't have the same snout either. But those Brits are all big on having dogs, so they're a big dog family. So maybe some of the charities have to do with the dog charity. If it does, good for them. Anyway, but here's an interesting thing about this. Howie Mandel, and I don't know if you remember Howie Mandel. He used to be on Deal or No Deal. I think he's on another show now, America's Got Talent or something. I don't know. I'd never watch it. But he knew Meghan Markle, who is the bride. She was lady number 23 back in the day when Deal or No Deal was on television. And God, I used to love that show. Matter of fact, I even got the game, to play during Christmas time when the family got together. Wouldn't that be fun? If during the Christmas time and the royal family and her family got together and he brought in a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon and they whipped out the old what is it? It's not a Hulu, but it's a Wii. It's a Wii game of Deal or No Deal. And there's old Howie Mandel. Hey, number 23, what's in your box or whatever. Oh my God, wouldn't that be just hilarious? But anyway, she was lady number 23 of Deal or No Deal. So Howie didn't get an invitation either. Pissed him right off. I'd get mad too. Anyway, it looks like I got to take another break, so I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network, inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. I just mentioned before I went to break here about Howie Mandel and how he didn't get an invitation to the royal wedding. And that hurt him to the quick. It really did. So, Howie, sorry about that. We always have to make sacrifices sometime, and I guess yours is just not being able to go to the royal wedding. I don't know if he would have or not. I guess he probably would have. He's a Canadian, I met Howie Mandel, years ago back. This is back. I want to say in the early '80s. He did a lot of stand-up comedy over at the MGM and several other places out there, but I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's baller in a billiard ball. But back in those days, he had a big old head of hair, big full head, and he was a funny guy. Still is actually. Okay, let's see what else we got here. How about let's talk about. Where in the world this summer, if you want to go on vacation, I know everybody does. Why doesn't anybody ever want to go on vacation? But they're saying now in the United States that at least 40% of the population, 40% of the actual people working do not take any vacation time. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous unless you're in a position where you own your own business or in a position where you just financially can't take any time off. But people just don't take time off, and they get burned out and mad, and they do road rage, and they wing me when they're going down the road, and boy, I've been winged a lot lately too, and I don't know why, but anyway, if you guys are just decide you are going to go somewhere and have some fun on a vacation, and you'll say, yeah, let's get out and do some hiking, let's do out and some fishing, camping. Hey, let's throw a little bit of gold panning in that repertoire. I got some places that you can go. And here they are, the 10 places that you can actually still pan for gold in the United States. And it's not only is it legal, but the chances are you're going to find something. Now you're not going to get rich, but it's fun. Take the kids out, take the wife out, take your shoes off, jump in the creek, let the fish tickle your toes, get the old pan in there, and see what you can come up with. Anyway, here are the places that you can go. The American River in California. Now this literally is in the heart of the old Motherlode gold. What is it? The gold rush days back in the 1849s when they had all that big the gold rush out in California. This creek and river is right on part of what was actually part of that gold rush. So not only is it nostalgia and part of history, but you may even get down there and jump in and find yourself some gold. American River, California is a good place to get a chance to find some gold. The next place where it's a good chance to get some in Fairbanks, Alaska. Now that's kind of a long ways to go if you're going to go, just on a quick road trip somewhere. But if you're up in that part of the country, the Fairbanks. I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading today. I guess I'm on my. Wait, there's somebody here. Oh, it's my bookie. My bookie. Just hang on a second. I can see what she. Sorry about that again. My bookie wanted to make sure that I was aware of that. No checks. Send no checks. Pay no checks. Want nothing to do with checks. So anyway, there you go. That's another reason again not to have checks. Fairbanks, Alaska. Yeah, that's. I think I was where I left off. They had the big gold rush up there in 1902 on the Chena River. So if you're up in that area near the Fairbanks, you can get out there with your gold panning equipment and do a little bit of gold panning. They said that 8 out of 10 placer miners, that's what you call yourself if you're out there panning for gold, find pieces of gold in that creek, in the Chena River actually. But be careful in the springtime because it's fast and cold, and be careful in the fall because it's bear season, like that poor little girl here in Grand Junction. Black Hills, South Dakota. That's another good place if you're going to go on a day trip somewhere around going up to Sturgis for the motorcycle festival, and you want to cut a few hours out of your motorcycle and beer drinking and tattoo giving and so on and so forth. You can swing down over to the northern Black Hills area around Deadwood, and there's some big streams around there that were real popular back in the 1870s. That they took out a lot of gold. Some of the biggest strikes in South Dakota history were right up there on these little creeks. So anything around Deadwood Creek, it's actually Deadwood Creek, is where they would want you to go up and try. So 1870 was the big placer drive up there for gold panning, but you can still get up there now and pan for gold, and good chance you're going to find something. Northern Nevada. Now this is interesting because Northern Nevada was really big back in the 1800s for silver, but they're saying the northern part of Nevada, back up in where there's actually forest and trees and so on and so forth, and forest, I should say, there's trees just about everywhere. Plenty of places to get up there and pan for gold. And there may be some other in situations where you might find silver, or maybe even find some diamonds or rubies or stuff like that. So So if you're up in northern Nevada and, get up there and check it out and pan for a little bit of gold. It doesn't say what the river is up there in northern Nevada, but I think probably just if you're up in that part of the country and you see a stream or a little river, run on down there and with your gold pan and check it out. But very interesting. They don't have a name. Anyway. Pikes Peak region, around Colorado. Cripple Creek, Victor, around any place around there, just on the other side of the west side of Pikes Peak, are excellent places to get a chance to pan for some gold. This was probably the richest of all the gold discoveries in the United States. Was up there in Cripple Creek back in 1890 or 1889, somewhere around there. Huge veins of gold. Matter of fact, they're saying that right now the chances of finding gold up there around there, just even on the ground, is a good bet. So anytime you're up there looking around, not looking out for snakes, but look out for pieces of gold up there around the Pikes Peak range. So if you have a chance, go up Pikes Peak too. Take a look at that. It's kind of overrated actually, but if you haven't been up there, it's good for at least go up there once. The Rogue River in Oregon is the next place that's on the Cascade Mountain Range, and this is one of the richest gold-bearing rivers in Oregon. So if you get up there at the Rogue River, jump down there and take a gold pan, and get a bit of gold. Lumpkin County, Georgia. Now, I'm not even going to go any further than that. I don't think anybody, when you think of Georgia, you think about gold panning. But this is an interesting thing here. This was the first place in the United States back in Georgia when they actually started, the gold fever came about. And they had the first actual gold strike in the United States was back there at Lumpkin County, Georgia. So it's on the Chesapeake, Tennessee, and Hukalaka and the Micanaka rivers. So take your gold pan and take your dictionary if you want to get the correct pronunciation of those rivers. So British Columbia's got some places to go. Feather River, California. There's another place in California. Northern California is a good place to go up and do some gold panning on the Sacramento River. There's a lot of places that up in California that are still, I'm sure, just a lot of places. If you can fight off the people, I'm sure you can have a little bit of fun. But the Feather River is really up north, and it's up near Marysville and Yuba City and up around there out in Northern California. So that's a beautiful place. Anyway, just go up and get an eyeful of the beautiful scenery that's up there, for sure. So when you're going to go on your summer vacation, don't forget to take a sleeping bag. Don't forget to take your gold pan, a lantern, and don't forget to take your 44 Magnum in case you see the snake. But maybe that's too big a gun for some people. It's not hardly big enough for me when I see a snake. But anyway, that's places to go gold panning if you guys want to get out in the great outdoors, and you should. And if you're not getting out in the great outdoors, then you're a doofus. And that's all I can tell you. Which comes to an interesting fact here. I read something, and I don't know where this was, but that they're saying that the millennials now are called, they're called the I generation. It used to be gosh, I can't even know what the E, the X, the Y, the Z generation, and all that kind of BS. But the millennials now are called the I generation. And it's not what you think. It's because it's for the indoors. They spend less time outside than any other generation in our history. And this is not only here in the United States, but virtually, worldwide. It seems that the millennials, the I generation, they come home. They're probably living with their parents. They play games on their iPads. Watch television, go to bed, get up, go to work if they've got a job or whatever, which is about 20 minutes out in the outdoors going to work and 20 minutes coming back. Then they come back home, do the same thing again. So they never, ever get out of the house. Sad. So if you're a millennial, and you want to get a suntan, you're not going to get it in the indoors, friends. You're going to have to take your shirt off and go outside. So the I generation, there you go. That's the sad truth about the youth in this country. And I'm not saying everybody's goofy or bad, or the kids are just stupid or lazy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying most of you are. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, I wouldn't say that about everybody. Most people, no, I wouldn't say it. Anyway, this radio program wouldn't be anywhere without my tribute to the political factions here in this country. And I had the great opportunity a week ago to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I really enjoyed myself. I saw, some of the greats, the years gone by greats, the Sandy Koufaxes, the Bob Gibsons, the Mickey Mantles, the Roger Marises, all that was great. I also had a chance to see some of the teams that I really remember when I was a kid, like the Cincinnati Reds. They were called the Big Red Machine, and that's for sure. They won the World Series, I don't know how many years in a row, and they were just an amazing team. Amazing. I mean, their hitting and their pitching and their fielding was just superb. And they've got the majority of that team is in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, I went by the Johnny Bench. It was a tribute to Johnny Bench, his exhibit there at the Hall of Fame. But I was confused a little bit because I went by and I saw it and I thought, God, that got a picture of in his exhibit, and it looked exactly like Hillary Clinton. And this was in Johnny Bench's exhibit booth. And I said, well, how in the world could that possibly have a picture of Hillary Clinton in with his stuff? Where's his bust and pictures of him in his glory days and so forth? And then I got to look at it a little bit closer, and it wasn't a picture of Hillary Clinton at all. It was actually Johnny Bench's catcher's mitt, and I thought it was a picture of Hillary Clinton. So anyway, speaking of Hillary, and this is not me telling this because I can't make this stuff up. But there have been numerous reports over the last 10 days that Hillary's got a drinking problem. And, it looks like she's got a back brace on. I think she fell down the stairs again and did something. And then she gets on TV and she's incoherent, or she gets on the radio and she stumbles and mutters worse than I do. So everybody thinking that, this last defeat that she had, she kind of reminds me of a boxer. Who doesn't know when to give up. He's in there taking punches and beating up. He got both eyes are swelled shut, and he got blood coming out his nose. And she's just been beat up a couple of times. She needs to throw the towel in and call it quits. But she's like an old boxer. She just doesn't want to give up. But I think we're pulling for her to pull the plug, get out of the political race, Hillary, and go somewhere and get out of our sight, please. Please get out of our sight. And then I really have to say that I'm very sorry, and I have to make a correction, that Maxine Waters truly is not the parakeet pimp that I was calling her. That designation now has to go to what is her name? Federita Wilson, from a Democrat from Florida. She's the one that wears those goofy hats with those parakeet feathers on it, and she's now considered the parakeet pimp, and not Floridora Wilson now is the parakeet pimp from Florida. Maxine Waters is now her distinction is not the parakeet pimp, but her designation now is the diarrhea mouth, because she talks and talks and no one cares, and she screams and yells, and no one knows what she's saying except she wants to impeach Trump, and she needs to get over it. Get over it. So anyway, well, we've got to take one more break, and then I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about Chaco Canyon.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
Hi, Dave Alley here for the Adventure Alley Show. I'm just going to start right in on Chaco Canyon. This is down in the northern part of New Mexico. Just a great, fabulous place. If you've never been down to Chaco Canyon, it is something that truly will change your life, and it certainly did me. The times that I've been down there, because it is not only is it very mysterious, but it is, you can almost feel how spiritual and how these Indians might even be there to guide you as they had lived there in the past. But Chaco Canyon, it's in a very shallow 10-mile canyon, which is situated on the northeast corner of New Mexico, and it's about 75 miles from any town closest to it. And I think Durango, Colorado, and Farmington are probably the closest ones. But the canyon itself, it was carved millions of years ago, and it was a seabed back millions of years ago. So you can see it's kind of fits that southern desert formation. The elevation of Chaco Canyon is 6,200 feet, which isn't all that high. But it is high enough that it would be considered a high desert. And the sun is scorching in the summer, and in the winter it's bitter cold. So the people that come now there and see this and study it are confused on why people would actually live in such a harsh environment where it's so hot on one side and it's so cold on the other side. But anyway, they said that the population literally came to Chaco Canyon in 850 A.D., and then right after they were there for a couple hundred years, they were just hunters and gatherers. But then right after that, they started to farm and raise crops, and then eventually their construction turned and went a different direction as well. And they made massive stone buildings like no other ones in the Southwest or any of the Indians' ruins that you see now or ever before. These structures sometimes soared as high as 4 or 5 stories and contain 70 rooms with dozens of kivas, and which are spiritual areas. And another interesting thing about this, they were connected to one another by lines of sight. And this was an amazing amount of engineering had to go through with something like that, and how a person or how a tribe or a civilization without any written communications or words or language could actually do something is remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And they also built their structures so that they were actually in line with the stars, and they could determine from the stars, what time of year it is. Well, I guess if it's hot, it's summer. But they could also tell how the sun and the moon act with the earth and so forth. They continued construction for about 300 years, and then about 1100 A.D., for some reason, they just abruptly abandoned Chaco Canyon and left, and no one knows why. I mean, they're just gone. And there's probably about 10,000 Indians that lived there at the time, but they were just gone, not only in one area, but in several areas around the canyon. No one knows where they went. There's some speculation that some of them might have moved up to Mesa Verde, because that's kind of about the time that all took root and started being really populated. And one time there was 10,000 Indians that lived around Mesa Verde, which is an amazing story in itself. And we'll talk about that sometime as time goes on. Another time when I'm actually featuring Colorado, or maybe featuring that as part of my program. But the Spanish arrived in 1600s, and they found that no one lived there, but they had a lot of questions, and still there's questions today that no one can answer. Where did they go? Why did they go? Where did they get the water? Is it because they left because there was a drought? Possibly. Droughts that come and go. We're having a drought here now that's been lingering on for several years. I don't think we're going to pack up and move the tent because it's a drought. But there's no other reason. If you're a hunter or if you're a farmer and you don't have any water, and your actual survival is going to be on what you farm and what you raise, and there's no water to do it, there's probably a good chance you're going to pack the tent and leave. And that's probably what caused those Indians to pack up and get away. So, but there's some other interesting things about Chaco Canyon, and astronomers. I can't even talk today. Good God, it must be all that cough syrup I've been drinking to get over this allergies. But astronomers, people who watch stars come out there all the time because the skies are so dark at night. They can see plenty of stars and the galaxies and determine I don't know what's going on up in space. So there's been speculation that not only did these Indians learn a lot of their stuff from just being there, but also maybe from aliens. So I doubt that's the case, but who knows? But there's still a lot of questions that no one knows, and just like at Mesa Verde, no one knows why they left. No one knows why they did what they did. But the questions keep coming, and the answers don't seem to be following. So there you go. That's what Chaco Canyon is. If you have an opportunity, go see it. Amazing. Now it's a rough road out there, and it's a long ways, and it's dusty, and the road. If you've got false teeth, you better put a lot of Poligrip on in your mouth because your teeth are going to be up and down because the road is such a washboard. But all in all, it's well worth your time. Now expect a few people to be out there, and there is water, but there is no electricity. There's no other places to get food or gasoline. So if you're going to go out there, be prepared. Be a good hiker. Be a good Boy Scout. Well, I used to be a good Boy Scout. I don't know what they're called now, but anyway, be prepared. Be prepared is all I can tell you, and go out there and experience it. It definitely is a life-changing experience. So there you go. For the IB Network, my studio engineer, Tim Wacker, my equipment engineer, Carson Breeze, my IT engineer, Blake Olson, this is Dave Alley saying, you only live once, so get out in the great outdoors and have some fun, and do some naked gardening if you want. This has been Against the Grain production. This is the IB Network.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.